Thanks for watching part 1. Now, sit back and enjoy as we talk about hours of service, part 2.
Since the dawn of man, we have raced against the clock, minute after minute, hour after hour. In an industry so regulated, is there a way to beat time? Only you hold the key.
Into the split a little bit. We talked about the split. So say you're on a tight appointment, all right, and you've got to be, once you finish today out, you've got to be moving as quick as possible. You have a 300-mile run to get to your shipper, all right. You run 300 miles, which, so let's just use 60 miles an hour, 5 hours. So you take 5 hours off of your clock immediately, off your 11-hour drive, off of your 14-hour, off of your 70, everything right then. You get to that shipper and it takes them 6 hours to load you. Okay, well, you're like, oh man, I'm freaking out. My 14 hours still going. I'm going crazy. Well, just recently, the FMCSA has regulated a way to pause your 14-hour clock. And you can do it by doing a split break. Now, if you're using ELDs, you'll see a little tab down here in the bottom right corner. It's a little box you can check, and I'll show it in the picture right here. So a little box you can check that says will pair with sleeper berth. You have to have that box checked if you're using ELDs. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go as soon as you dock your truck, go immediately into sleeper berth. Because if they hold you for 6 hours, you want that truck to be not movable, it's not moving, still in sleeper berth. You can do either a 2 or a 3 hour minimum sleeper berth break. What that'll do is pause your 14, okay? And you think to yourself, well, that's crazy. Well, I should just do that all the time. Yes, you should. You should, exactly. And as soon as they're done loading you, do your on-duty time for loading and then roll out. But what this also does for you on your split break, whatever you did that break on, whether it was 2 or 3 hours, okay, you can pull that off of your 10 at the end of the day. So if you did a 3-hour sleeper berth break, you only have to sit in sleeper berth at 7 hours at the end of your shift and you can be rolling again. Catch 22, you only get back the hours that you drove before you did the 3-hour break. So remember that. So when you stop, you have to do the next day. You can only drive those 5 hours you drove the day before you did the 3-hour break, the shift before you did the 3-hour break. Now, you have to stop and do another 3-hour break to get the rest of your 11 and the rest of your 14 back. So it is a catch-22, and you should only try to use the break option when you absolutely need to be moving quicker than you would on a 10-hour break. So utilize your time wisely, and that's the whole reason that I'm doing this video, is to tell you guys, if you can master this clock, if you can master your logs, your hours of service, you can be as efficient as you want to be. So team truck, solo truck, doesn't matter. If you're one of these people that likes running 11 hours wide open every day, run 11 hours wide open. Now, that being said, okay, we're going to talk about your carrier and who you haul for. Now, everybody uses, if you're on ELDs, everybody uses something different. They could use Keep Trucking, Prime uses Omnitrax. There's no telling what every carrier uses. But always know what time zone they're based out of, because we're based out of Central Time. So all of these hours, if you're trying to keep your hours even at 8 hours and 45 minutes on duty and drive time combined, you want to remember, okay, my daily cycle, my 24-hour cycle starts at midnight, whatever time zone my company is based out of. So ours is Central Time. So at midnight Central Time, my next daily cycle rolls over. So even if say me and my team driver swap out at 10 o'clock in the morning, okay, and they've only got 8.5 hours to drive. They're only going to drive 8.5. They're going to do 15 minutes for off duty because they don't have the fuel, unload, load, nothing. Okay. They're going to do 15 minutes for their inspection and they're done. 8 hours, 45 minutes. We're good. If my break started at 10 a.m., okay, and I've already drove my 8.5 for the day, okay, or my 8 hours, 45 minutes on duty and drive time combined, well, then guess what? If I only need a 10-hour rest break from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., my 10-hour rest break's up, correct? Essentially, if I have the hours on my 70, I can go ahead and take off. But what does that do? That's before the 24-hour cycle has ended. So what that's going to do is add more hours to that daily cycle. So I won't be keeping my hours even at 8 hours and 45 minutes total on duty and drive time. So you got to remember that, guys. That 24-hour cycle can be vicious. You can think to yourself, oh, it's another shift, so it's another day. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to always keep that clock in mind, and keep in mind when your daily cycle resets based on what time zone that your logs are set out of. So there is so much information about this, guys, and this is just a quick brush up. I will tell you this, like I said earlier, I like to keep it at 8 hours and 45 minutes every day on duty and drive time combined. And I got to tell you, it keeps us constantly moving. So a lot of people say, well, I can't make my appointment. Well, it really has to do with trip planning. Trip planning is really, really important. And we're going to get into that in another video. But guys, if you do the math, we drive at 60. Okay. If you do the math, if we only drove 8 hours a day, that's 480 miles a driver. Okay. In a perfect world, if we had no holdups or anything, 8 times 60 is 480 times 2. That's 960. Okay. Now, when you start talking about weekly, 960 per day times 7 is 6,720 miles. That's a lot of miles for a team truck. It can be done, but I don't average 6,720 miles a week. My average is roughly 4,800. So guys, I'm not going to kill myself and try to run faster or run longer or nothing like that. You know, trying to get there faster. You know, you're never guaranteed an extra load. You're never guaranteed anything extra by running faster or running harder than what you have to. And let's do this on the solo side as well. Let's add this up. So if you're running 480 a day at 60 miles an hour for 8 hours, that gives you 45 minutes for all your on-duty stuff that you need to do for the day. Times 7, it's 3,360 miles a week. Like there's hardly any, I don't care who it is. You go ask any solo driver, are you running an average 3,360 miles a week? They're gonna say, no, man, I get probably 2,800 a week, 2,500 a week. So why would you guys try to kill yourselves running 11 hours a day and then having to stop for a day and a half? That's just me. Some people like doing it. Some people are like, man, I'm not driving 7 days, 8 days straight. I'm not getting any breaks. I'm not doing that. I got to have a 34. And that's cool. If that's the way you guys like operating, that's jam up. But I can tell you, consistency equals efficiency. So however you run your clock, keep running your clock. And you're going to have little instances where, okay, if I drive one more hour, I can go ahead and get this load off today, but it'll mess my 8 hours and 45 minutes up. Do it. Get the load off today. And then go ahead and find some more part and get ready to reload tomorrow. You can make that hour up, somewhere in the next 8 days, believe me. But, those little instances, they come and go. It's not always the case. So if you have a 1,000-mile load, or say a 900-mile load, you can pretty much say if you're running 60 miles an hour slow like we do at 8 hours, it's going to take you 2 shifts, essentially 48 hours. If you're talking about your breaks considered and you start starting at midnight on your company's actual time when your cycle rolls over, your 24-hour cycle. So many variables, there's so many options, there's so many ways you can actually take and use these hours of service and these clocks to your advantage. Now, if you're on paper logs, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Now, everybody knows that. But for the guys that are on the ELDs, guys, we are kind of chained up to these things, and we have to manipulate it and use it the best way possible for our profitability. So this is just some quick tips, guys. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. These hours of services, for me, it makes sense to balance your hours out so you can constantly keep running. You're not having to stop for a day and a half and lose revenue. If you keep those hours at 8 hours and 45 minutes every 24-hour period, you guys will constantly be able to move a minimum 480 miles a day. Minimum 480 miles a day. So guys, and like I said, that adds up to over 3,000 miles a week. There's no reason any driver should be, in my opinion, driving any faster or working any harder. I mean, nobody out here is averaging 3,000 miles a week plus. So if you're a solo driver, unless you're on some kind of special contract, or you're actually you're set up for it consistently. So just think about it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If it's your first time joining the channel, don't forget to like, sub, and share the channel. Get that information out there. That's what it's all about. Till the next one, guys, stay safe. God bless. Freight Skater out.